I've got an awesome Q&A scheduled for you today, so let's get started. Hey guys, Liz from the Nail Hub here, and I got some awesome questions from all of you. I do read every single comment on all of my videos. Sometimes I run out of time to respond to every single one, but you guys always ask me really good questions. So today I picked 10 questions that you guys had asked me on my community post here on YouTube. And I've also got some really good updates for you for 2020 as well. This is going to be my last gel nail fundamentals video for 2019. I'm not ending the series just yet, but it's already been over a year since I started this Gel Nails Fundamental series here on YouTube. And I have to say, this is really cool to see all of the stuff you guys have learned, how much your nails have improved. A lot of you have been, sending me pictures via email or DMing me on Instagram or sending me messages on Facebook through our Nail Hub page. And it's really, really nice to see that all of this stuff is working and helping you. And if you haven't watched the full series, please go back to the beginning of the Gel Nail Fundamentals series, because a lot of the questions I'm getting asked nowadays are stuff that I've already done a video on. That doesn't mean I can't do another video on it as well to expand upon what I've already said. But if you go back and you watch the full playlist from start to finish, it's probably going to take you a little bit of time, but it's also going to allow you to learn all of the stuff that I've already covered and allow you to catch up with all of the stuff that I'm planning to do going forward in 2020. So please go back, watch the full playlist from start to finish. They're in order from, I believe, oldest on the bottom to newest on the top. But you can absolutely do them, like sort them by newest to oldest on the playlist, and then you can start from the beginning and catch up with everything. All right, so without further ado, my first question that I got asked is, Liz, can nail enhancements cause oncholysis? Oncholysis is nail plate lifting from the nail bed. So if you've ever seen that, where maybe from the free edge, there's like a space that gets created and it starts growing and growing. And it basically just means that for whatever reason, your nail plate is separating from your nail bed. And sometimes it can be trauma. If so, what can you do to prevent it? And if not, what could be some common causes? What do you do if a client is in your chair with oncholysis? Okay, so oncholysis is, like I said, where the nail plate lifts away from the nail bed. Typically, it can start on one corner and start spreading, or sometimes you'll see it all the way across the actual free edge of the nail, and it'll start at the free edge and then start going more and more towards the cuticle area. Now, depending on how traumatized the nail has been, it could be all the way up really close to the cuticle area and there's hardly anything attached. Sometimes it'll look white underneath because of the separation. Sometimes dirt will get in there, sometimes blood. Sometimes it's also caused by a fungal infection or some type of bacterial infection, so it might be yellow or green. But you'll definitely see that that nice white little line where the free edge is supposed to be is no longer there, and now there's a big separation and it's very uneven and goes, up towards the cuticle area. So common causes for oncholysis are: 1, trauma to the nail bed. That means maybe you had longer nails on and you smashed your nail into something and it pulled backwards and now it yanked on the nail plate and it kind of separated the nail plate from the nail bed. Other causes of oncholysis can be fungal infection. So typically nail fungus is caused by the same fungus that causes athlete's foot. So if you get nail fungus, sometimes that'll actually start to grow underneath the nail plate and it'll actually start to separate. But typically with nail fungus, you'll see kind of a crumbly, almost yellow-like skin that starts to form underneath the nail plate. And you can definitely tell that there's fungus that's actually living underneath there. With real oncholysis, it's usually just separation and there's really nothing in between. But like I said, if you've got trauma to the nail bed, maybe you ripped on that nail, you might see a little bit of blood stuck in there. And this has probably also happened to you maybe with your toenails. If you've ever stubbed your toenail really hard, sometimes you'll see that like the corner will pop up and it takes a long time for it to grow back out. So oncholysis, typically the recommendation is to keep those nails short. That allows the nail to reattach and to support itself. If you try to re-extend that nail to make it look pretty and camouflage the fact that that's there, usually that length is, especially if the natural nail is really short and you've got all this artificial length, it's going to be tugging and pulling on that nail, that's already lifted, and it's going to make it worse. So usually if there's Oncholysis present, what you want to do is you want to shorten that nail as much as possible, and you want to leave that nail alone until the nail starts to grow out. And usually as the nail grows out, it will reattach to the nail plate because you've still got, to the nail bed, because you've still got nail plate, nail bed attached back here, back towards the matrix area where the nail grows from. So as that nail grows out, typically the nail bed will reattach to the nail plate over time. Okay, so it can be trauma, just physical trauma to the nail. It can be some type of infection that's causing the lifting. And sometimes it can also be caused by things like psoriasis. It can be caused by an allergic reaction to the product that was put on the nail. There's a lot of different reasons why the nail plate separates from the nail bed, but usually that's a sign that your nail is not happy for some reason. And so that's a good thing to listen to your body and realize that, hey, I need to shorten my nails. I need to leave them alone for a while. And usually I will either thin out the product that's on the nail and leave it so it grows out, like if it's hard gel, or if it's soak off, sometimes I will actually remove all of that product and just allow that nail to heal. If it is something where the person smacked their nail really, really hard and now they've got lifting, maybe popping, and their nail plate is lifting from their nail bed, usually what I'll do is I will shorten that nail as much as humanly possible to make it so there's no wiggling sensation anymore. And I will also try and, with my e-file, kind of make a little serrated line across the product, pop off whatever lifted product is there, and then I'll ask the person to just keep that nail wrapped. That way it keeps kind of some light pressure on the nail plate, and then as the nail starts to grow out, it'll start to kind of reattach as it goes. Okay, if it's not that severe, then just leave the nail alone, and usually it'll reattach on its own. But that's just, like I said, it's a sign that your nail is having a hard time staying attached to the finger for some reason, so it's a good idea to leave it alone. Oncholysis also, I just thought of this, can also be caused where the nail plate is so thin that it's having a hard time attaching to the nail bed anymore, and this can actually be caused by nail damage. So if you've got super, super, super thin nails that have been e-filed within an inch of their life, or even hand filed within an inch of their life, or maybe you've been ripping off of your gel polish, or you've been ripping off your artificial nails repeatedly, and now your nails are really paper thin, you will also typically see oncholysis with nails that are ridiculously traumatized, even from just overuse and abuse. So just leave those nails alone, keep them short, let them grow out, and usually those nails will reattach to the nail bed. Okay, I hope that helps. All right, next question. Is it possible to do long enhancements on a really small nail plate that is damaged and thin? If so, what special prep steps should we take? All right, so this kind of goes into what I was just talking about with oncholysis. So damaged and thin nails have a really hard time holding on to product. And sometimes you can get away with putting product back on, whether it be like maybe just an overlay so that those nails can grow out. But usually it's almost the same thing if you've ever had hair that's been over-processed. Usually over-processed hair will not hold color very well. It won't hold a curl. It won't hold straightening. It won't hold a perm. It's just limp and it just loses its life. It gets dull and it just needs a break. Sometimes you just have to cut it and start over. So nails are very similar. Nails, we only have a limited amount of layers of material to work with when a natural nail grows out. So as we file that nail thinner and thinner and thinner, you get problems like oncholysis, you get problems like where the nail is super flimsy and just has a hard time holding on to the product that's been placed on top of it. Sometimes it'll be, like I said, you're trying to create strength with hard gel on top of super damaged nails, and the hard gel is just peeling and lifting off, which causes more damage than if you had just left those nails alone. So I would not recommend doing long enhancements on short, thin nails, because if they're short, that means that there's a lot of artificial length that the nail has to support. And if they're thin, that means that the nail is already going to be at a disadvantage as far as being able to hold on to whatever you're putting on top of it. Okay, so if you've got clients that come in where the nails are just super worn out, they've been ripping off their enhancements, maybe they hop around from salon to salon, and every time they get a fresh set, they end up, ripping them off instead of going back for a fill. I know a lot of clients who do that merely because they don't like the salon that did the set. They don't think they did a good job. And then rather than having to go to some place and then, they worry about, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to pay to get them removed. I'm going to have to pay to get them fixed. So they're like, I'm just going to rip these all off and I'm just going to go get a fresh set. Well, the problem with that is that every time you rip your nails off, you end up taking a lot of nail material with it, and pretty soon you've got almost no nail for anyone to work with. And if you came to me, I would say, I'm so sorry that you had those past experiences, but there's little I can work with here, and I don't want to make your nails worse, so let's wait until those nails grow out, and then I'd be happy to have you come back. So definitely, if you're a nail technician, take that responsibility to say, hey, I want your nails to be healthy, so I'd rather wait until your nails recuperate a little bit before we work on them, and give your clients, you know, kind of a plan of attack for getting their nails back on track. Just like if you go to a really good hairstylist, they will do some deep conditioning treatments. They'll give you a trim. They'll tell you how to take care of your hair. You know, they'll probably recommend like, hey, don't wash it so often. Let your hair relax. You know, don't put it up in hair ties as much. Just let your hair relax and recuperate. Do some like, you know, hot oil treatments or deep conditioning treatments to get it back on track. And then maybe later on down the road, we can start to work on it again. Same thing with nails. Take that accountability to say, hey, you know, I want your nails to be healthy, so here's what I would recommend for you. And there's also treatments you can do without putting on enhancements. So, for example, I've shown you guys IBX on my channel, which is a great leave-in treatment for nails. It actually goes inside the nail plate rather than just on top, and it fixes things from the inside out. So IBX is a great option to give someone that wants to recuperate their nails, and instead of putting on another set of enhancements, you're able to actually start fixing the problem, which is really, really cool. And even if you don't offer a service like IBX, maybe you did this to yourself and you're just a DIYer and now your nails are super worn out because you went crazy practicing, and I know how that goes. The best thing for you would be just put on some regular nail polish if you want some color. Go back to regular nail polish for a while, leave your nails alone, keep them short so that they have time to kind of recuperate and they don't end up splitting or cracking on you. And just let your nails rest, okay? And within a few weeks, your nails will start to grow out. They'll start to be healthier, and just, you know, keep that in mind, all right? I know it's not always fun to take a break from things, but sometimes it's a necessity. All right, let's see here. I want to know how to make nails longer when clients come in for a refill, like if they want to go from short to long without taking old ones off. Thank you. Okay, so think about gel as, if you already have extensions on, think about it as if that were their real nail. So you can absolutely change the length. All you're going to do is get all of the color and art filed off, get back down to just the raw gel material or acrylic material, put some forms on, and then you can go ahead and extend from there. So all you're going to do is just take whatever length that you've got, you're going to put a form under that to match the opening of the end of the nail. So try and make it as flush as possible with the end of the nail. And then you're just going to add more material. When you add more material, whether it be gel or acrylic or polygel or whatever you work with, make sure that you also smush it back up towards the original nail. That way you don't have like a direct seam across where the new product and the old product is. That usually ends up leading to almost like a little mark where the gel or whatever product you're using can eventually crack. So just put more product out to create whatever length and shape that you want, and then also put some more back towards the cuticle area so that it all becomes one cohesive piece. You can do this for lengthening nails that are already on, and you can also do it for when you want to change shape. So let's say you have stiletto nails, you have really, really pointy nails, and you want to go back to square. You can absolutely add more product on the sides, blend all that out. Maybe the nails are arcing down too far and you want to be able to bring that up. You would add more product on top and e-file underneath to bring that all. So think about it more like adding product and removing product, because it doesn't have to be all done in one layer, and it also doesn't have to be all done in one set of nails. You can absolutely add and subtract as you go along. And I definitely recommend that too. Okay, so let's see. Next question is, sometimes when I apply a clear builder gel overlay on my natural nails and leave it with just top coat, I can see that sometimes the nail will start to separate from the middle. Why does this happen, and what can I do to prevent it? All right, so this is called pocket lifting. Anytime you get lifting in the center of your nail, it's called pocket lifting. And pocket lifting usually is a sign that there's not enough structure on the nail. What I mean by structure is that there's no apex and there's no C-curve to the nail. It's way too flat. And what ends up happening is that there's pressure on the end of your nail and it buckles right in the center. And instead of the whole nail popping off, it just pops right where that pressure is on your natural nail plate. So you get kind of this little white mark with this little white circle in the center of your nail, and that's called pocket lifting. So definitely go back and watch my video on C-curves and apexes. I did a video on this. I'll put the link here in this video. Definitely go back and watch that, because even on short natural nails, you still need to put some structure in order to be able to have that product last. And it can also be caused just by the gel being way too thin on the nail, and there's just not enough product to support that wiggling and tugging and movement that happens with natural nails. So the pocket lifting is definitely a sign that there's something wrong with the structure that's being built with the product that you're using. Let's see here. How do you recommend applying enhancements on clients whose nails fan out or widen out toward the free edge, but want an extension shape like Coffin? It just billows awkwardly in the middle if you include the whole nail bed. This is a good question. So if you actually watched my Coffin nail tutorial or my stiletto nail tutorial, you'll notice that I showed how to pinch nails. Pinching nails really helps those kind of trapezoid shaped nails. So a lot of times the client's nail the cuticle area will be tight, and then as it goes to the free edge, it almost makes like a bell shape or maybe like a triangle shape. So the nail plate actually looks something like this. So through pinching, what we do is we tuck those corners in so that we get a much more parallel shape to the nail plate. And this can be achieved by pinching the product when it's semi-hardened. So whether you're doing acrylic or you're doing gel or you're doing polygel, you pinch the nail while the gel or the acrylic is still in the process of polymerizing, while it's still in the process of hardening. And you usually flash cure the product for a little while. Or usually with pinching acrylic, I think you typically do it around the time that the acrylic is starting to heat up, like it starts to get warm. With gel, you typically flash cure the product for about maybe 15 seconds. Each product and each lamp, you're going to have to test it, but you want the gel to be semi-hard, where it's not gooey at all anymore, but it's not fully polymerized, it's not fully cured. So you're going to pinch that gently with some tweezers or a pinching tool, and that'll really help tuck in those corners. And as that nail starts to grow out, and as you continue to pinch the enhancements, as you backfill and everything, you'll get a much more parallel sidewall look. That is also something just to explain to people. I mean, some people's anatomy, their fingers get really puffy on the sides, maybe their nail swoops out, and it's just what God gave them. So it's a good idea to just explain to people, hey, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to kind of train your nail as much as possible without damaging it. We don't want to over pinch because it can actually lead to things like ankylosis if we traumatize the nail bed. But you can absolutely gently pinch those corners in. Over time, it's going to kind of train their nail to stay a little bit more shapely and a little bit more tapered, and just explain that to your client as part of what they've got to work with and what you're going to try to do to make it look as beautiful as you possibly can. But that's also what's cool about people, is that everybody's nails are different, everybody's nail shape is different, and you can also, if it's an extreme case, recommend a different shape for that client. Just say, hey, look, it's just like hair. Again, I'm going to use another hair analogy. Imagine you have a really round face and you ask for like a page boy haircut. You're going to look ridiculous. I mean, it's just short haircuts, like super, super short up to here, don't look good on super round faces. Like I don't look good with super short hair because I have more of like an oval round face. So if you were to ask for that, hopefully your hairstylist would say, I know you really want this, but I wouldn't recommend it just because you have an X face shape. I would recommend something else for you that will really enhance your natural beauty and make you look, even better than how you look on a normal basis. So same thing goes for nails. Don't be afraid to recommend something that is going to look better on that person. Take that position as the professional and say, I know you've seen pictures of these nails on Pinterest or wherever. I know you're excited about this nail shape, but given the fact that your nails do widen out, I can do my best, but I can't guarantee they're going to look as slim as these pictures that you may have seen. If you want to try a different nail shape, maybe we can make something else look a little bit better for you. Or if you're committed to the Coffin shape, I'll do my best, but just be aware that, we've got this challenge, okay? So there's nothing wrong with being honest with people, and I do know that I've had clients like that, and they really appreciate the honesty. And then when they do see that it's not super, super tapered like the pictures they've seen, they at least know that you've told them that, and that was part of setting that expectation. Okay? Hope that helps. What is your least favorite part about doing nails, as in the process of doing them, not business related? This is a really hard question. I literally copy and pasted this, and I didn't even think about an answer before starting this recording. Least favorite part. I would say the hardest part is expressing yourself when a lot of clients come to you with their own ideas about what they want. So I would say my least favorite part is when you have a client that comes to you and they want you to copy someone else's nail art. That's really hard for me because most of the time it's not something I'm good at. Or the other thing is French nails. I'm just not a French type of person. I think they're beautiful. I think people who do them well it's amazing. Like people who do amazing pink and whites, I'm like, wow, those are gorgeous. But me, I get no satisfaction out of doing pink and white. So I worked really hard in my career to kind of steer myself away from people who wanted pink and whites, and, you know, recommended them to someone else I knew was really good. And I tried to really work on saying no to the things I didn't want to do and saying yes to the things I did. And that's probably my least favorite part, is just having to go through that process of either, you know, having people be disappointed that you don't want to do something that they want, or trying to explain to people like, hey, I really don't want to copy someone else's nail art. I want to make it my own. Like, let's, you know, put my spin on it. That's probably my least favorite part. But it's also for the clients that get it and the clients that appreciate you. And also, you know, as you make that effort with people, it is also something really rewarding to get to that point where the nails that you're doing on your clientele are the nails that really fulfill you and that really express who you are as not only a technician, but also as an artist. So that's, you know, it's kind of like a con and a pro at the same time. But that's probably my least favorite part, is just having to go through that with every new client, having to, you know, learn their preferences, and then, you know, them having to learn your preferences, and just that getting to know each other phase is probably the hardest part. Once you get over that hump, it's awesome. And then once they're in it with you, it's just great. They're like, you build that relationship and things just, they get easier from there on. So, all right, next question kind of goes on the opposite end, which is, what inspires you about nails and keeps you giving 100% in your career? Oh my gosh, this is also a really hard question. A lot of you guys inspire me. I mean, doing this series has been really hard because I've had to learn how to use cameras. I've had to learn about lighting. I've had to learn about color correction. I mean, I've literally had to learn about everything there is about making YouTube videos. I mean, even audio, making sure the audio sounds good. If you guys watched my first videos that I posted on my Gel Nail Fundamentals series, I mean, they're horrible in comparison to the videos that I post today. So it really inspired me that a lot of you were really appreciative of the fact that I was trying to share my knowledge, and that has really, really revamped my inspiration in the nail industry. I saw before I did this series that there was just a lot of struggle, and that kind of got me down, because I was like, oh man, like people are really missing out on education. Like it's really hard for people to do really well in the nail industry, and that was kind of, you know, hard for me to see. But also what inspires me is just, I mean, the art and the beauty and the fun. The thing that really, really fulfills me is when I do someone's nails and they walk away and they just, you can feel them kind of just glowing, like they're so excited, they feel so pretty. That really inspires me. Like the aftermath of people walking away and knowing that I'm going to make them feel beautiful is just really rewarding. So that's always been really fun for me to see, and I really enjoy sharing my knowledge, and I really enjoy teaching. If you guys can't tell, I love teaching people, so that also keeps me inspired. But that's also something that, I mean, I've talked about this before, but that's also something I really want to push on you guys, or I guess like hit home with you, is that you don't have to be a teacher. You don't have to be, you know, the nail tech that does it all in order to be fulfilled in this industry. I think actually what gets people down is when they try to be way more than they want to be. I think what really is hard for people is when they're super happy with, like, for example, maybe you're super happy just doing pink and white nails day in and day out, and then you get pressured by either your clientele or by social media or whatever you see out there to do more nail art or to teach or to, you know, become an educator or whatever it is. And then you start realizing, like, I'm not doing what makes me happy anymore. Now I'm doing all of these 50 million other things, and I really wish I had never left that core thing that fulfills me at the end of the day. So that is also something I really think is a serious part about being a nail technician, is that it's okay to just stick with what you love. You don't have to go above and beyond. And really, it's not about like reaching some new level. It's actually just about finding what you enjoy. So to be honest, I would actually say that teaching gives me more fulfillment than when I used to work in the chair all the time. And it's just my personal preference. I love working in the chair. I love working on clients, and I still love working on clients. But I definitely have found that my energy and my, I don't know, like I guess my personal talents are best utilized teaching others. I really, really like it. And maybe you're the opposite. Maybe you're like, oh my God, I would never, ever, do that. It's just not in me. And that's totally okay. So the biggest thing is find that thing that inspires you. Find that thing that you think is so fun that you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to go do this today. And stick with it, because as soon as you try and do everything for everyone, you're going to lose sight with that thing that really brings you fulfillment and joy. Okay. So that's like Liz's, well, it's not even 2 cents. It's like, I just gave you like $2 worth of my opinion, but I hope that makes sense, because I do see a lot of people get really pressured to do things that they don't enjoy. And I see a lot of people like lose their grasp on what they really started with and what they really became a nail tech for in the first place. So anyway, when you did your fill video for nails, you showed drilling and filing down your natural nails underneath. And sorry, I'm going to take a quick sip of something because I'm super thirsty. I showed filing down your natural nails underneath. I love that idea and tried it, but within 2 weeks, they kind of started lifting from underneath, not cuticle area, and they get stained. At the moment, I still haven't found a great solution for it other than do my nails every 2 weeks. I wear gloves when washing dishes, use dad oil and on the cuticle and hyponychium regularly throughout the day, and don't soak my hands in general. Love your videos. Thank you for showing me how to do quality work on myself. Okay, so filing underneath the nail, basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to thin it to the point where it is thin enough that it's not able to absorb water, therefore it's not able to dehydrate, and therefore it's not able to curl. So if you have naturally thick nails, which it sounds like this person actually does have naturally thicker nails, what you want to do is, instead of completely filing it clean out and then creating basically another solid line where the natural nail ends and the artificial begins. So if you think about it like, let me just grab a couple of things. Okay, I'll show you real quick. This is the natural nail, and this is the artificial product on top. Maybe that's a bad, I'll put it this way so you guys can see. Okay, so if I file out the nail so that it's like a blunt end right here, like I cut all this out with my e-file, and now I've got this over exaggerated blunt natural nail underneath my enhancement. It's still got this blunt end on it. What you want to do is you want to basically blend out the natural nail so that it kind of goes from natural thickness all the way to like paper thin, and then into nothing underneath the enhancement. So when you file out, when you flip the nail over and you're filing out underneath, don't really carve it out clean. Try and do it with your diamond bits so that it ends up going from natural thickness right at the hyponychium into paper thin. And the best way that you can do that is you're going to e-file at a 45-degree angle. So if you're looking at the nail top side, your bit would be kind of at a 45 degree like this underneath the enhancement, maybe a little bit less than 45 degrees. And that way you're going to get that transition from natural thickness to paper thin. That paper thin nail is the key, because it's going to keep it attached to the product, but it's not going to be thick enough to absorb any water or to swell or dehydrate. So that's the key to keeping it sealed underneath. Okay, so try that. But also, doing your nails every 2 weeks is very normal. I mean, a lot of clients just can't go more than 2 weeks just because of the way that they are, the way that their nails are, the way that they use their nails. So if you're having to do your nails every 2 weeks, that's very, very normal. Sometimes you can push it to 3, but honestly, I don't usually recommend anyone goes beyond 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, the structure starts to get completely out of whack, everything starts to fall apart, and it ends up being way more work than if you had just backfilled it at 2 weeks when there's hardly anything to do. I think hopefully that makes sense. It's just like, it's a lot less product, it's a lot less filing, it's a lot less work, things are still intact, there's not a lot of lifting to worry about. If you wait to go to 3 to 4 weeks, some people can get away with it, but a lot of people can't. And it's like you're trying to, remove all of this broken, messed up, lifted, dirty areas. And then just so you can put a whole bunch of product back on, you have to change the whole structure. So doing it every 2 weeks is a lot easier than doing it every 4. So if you're doing your nails every 2 weeks and you're feeling frustrated with that, I actually would say that seems pretty normal to me. But in order to get a little bit more wear out of them, definitely think about making that transition so your nail will go like this rather than just carving it out and having this blunt end. And it's hard to see because our nails look thin compared to our product that we put on top of them, but it does make a difference just having them really, really paper thin underneath the enhancement. Okay. I just started using builder gel, and I was wondering if once you cure it and your shape is not quite what you want, can you add another layer of gel and cure again? Absolutely. So think about gel, acrylic, polygel, whatever you're using as like modeling clay, right? So don't think about it like polish where you have to get it perfect in the first coat. Think about it like modeling clay where you can add to the design and you can smush that around. You can even scrape some off. You can, you know, file that off. It's very much like molding something or sculpting something rather than it is, you know, having to get it perfect on the first time. So you can absolutely, if you just applied builder gel, you just cured it, it's still sticky, and you already see like, oh, I've got a dip right there, I need to add more product. Go ahead and add more product. Put it right on that sticky inhibition layer. Add more product right on there. I usually recommend doing that wet layer first, like I've shown in a lot of my videos, just because it makes things self-level a little bit nicer. You can even put forms back on. Let's say, you know, you missed a spot. You took your forms off. You're like, oh my gosh, this is like way too high. I didn't get it down low enough. Put a form back on and just go ahead and put a little bit more product on the side. Or if you notice things are too thin, go ahead, you know, and add more. And just like when things are too thick, we file it off. When things are too thin or it's not in the right place, you can absolutely add more product, okay? So don't be afraid to do that and think about it more like modeling clay. That really helps when you think about being able to add more product and mold it into what you want. And then if it's too much, you can scrape a little bit off and take it away. Very, very similar concept. What I keep having problems with and no one seems to address is getting gel or acrylic under the nail. It doesn't matter how carefully I place the form. Thank you for your work. You are a perfectionist and take every detail into account. Well, thank you very much. That's very nice. I am one of those perfectionist people, but I definitely do not do perfect nails, but I appreciate that. That's a very nice compliment. So don't worry about getting a little bit of product under the nail. That's very normal. It's very, very difficult to get a seamless transition under the nail when you're doing nails with forms. So typically what will happen is after the first maybe like 2 or 3 weeks, that space where the extension has grown out underneath, you'll have that natural nail meeting the gel, and there'll be like a little bit of a spot where the gel went underneath the nail. That's actually good because it kind of encapsulates the natural nail and keeps water and dirt and all that stuff from getting in between the enhancement and the natural nail. But once it grows out enough, you can also just gently file to blend that underneath. So typically that happens around the 3rd or 4th week after the enhancements have been placed. So it might not be on the first fill, but definitely on the second fill, you can go in and you can start filing that out. Sometimes you'll also have like on the sidewalls, you'll be able to see like almost like a little hooked area where the gel or the acrylic underneath, you can see it poking out where it's wrapped around the natural edge. So you can definitely take a diamond bit under there, gently blend that so that it's perfectly seamless. That's completely normal, okay? So don't worry about that. That happens to everybody. And you can also, if you want, once that grows out and once you file underneath, and this kind of goes along with the nail lifting underneath the enhancement, once you clean and bevel out that natural nail underneath the product, you can also go back and put a little no cleanse top coat underneath there as well if you really want to make it stain proof, or if you want to kind of better seal that in there. A lot of nail techs will also put some no cleanse top coat underneath the nails so that the extensions are perfectly glossy and that there's no kind of porous surfaces or filed surfaces for any dirt or food or anything like that to get in there. So absolutely, you can turn your client's long nails upside down and very carefully paint the underside with some top coat. Typically I use a smaller gel brush for that, and I'll put a little bit of the top coat on my work mat or on my palette, and just very carefully put a thin coating, and that really does help to also seal the edges after you've either beveled out or when the nail is growing out as well. So hopefully that will help you keep those nails intact, and don't worry about getting a little bit of that bulk underneath. That's completely normal when you use forms, and it's very common with gel. Acrylic or thicker gels are a little bit easier because they don't seep in there as much, so sometimes using a thicker builder gel that doesn't self-level is really nice for extensions. That'll keep the gel on top and it won't be so susceptible to seeping in between. But it's really not that big of a deal. I usually just e-file it out once they come back for their second fill. Okay? Okay, so updates for 2020. I hope all of those questions really helped a lot of you that have been asking me on YouTube. 2020, I cannot believe this year is almost over. This is insane to me. Okay, so next year, I was thinking about, gosh, it's been already over a year since I started the Gel Nail Fundamentals series. You guys have loved everything that I've put up here, which is amazing, and I thank you so much for subscribing and following what I've been doing, and I hope you have been getting a lot of value out of what I've been posting. So 2020, I'm going to start a new series. I'm not ending the Gel Nail Fundamentals just yet. I will probably end it at some point, but I do have a few more things that I want to cover for you guys. Don't forget to go back and watch it from the beginning because it's very important. But I'm going to be adding a new series in 2020 called the All About series. So All About series is going to be me covering a single product in a video. So I'm literally going to be doing a video about every single product that we have on the Nail Hub to begin with, because I really want people to be able to learn about the products online, to not only get kind of those like regular bullet points that the manufacturers provide about what it is, but I want to show you guys how to use it, things to watch out for, pros and cons, you know, give you insight into what it feels like to use it, you know, what it smells like to use it, how it wears and tears, what it looks like on camera, especially for colors. I want to be able to show you guys that while I'm using it. So I'm going to start this new All About series where I'm going to show you in depth one product in each video. So I will probably be either doing like a Gel Nail Fundamentals series video one week and a All About the next, or I might actually double down and do 2 a week. So maybe you guys can give me your input below this video and let me know whether you want 2 videos a week or you would rather have them one every other week. But I'm definitely going to be doing that for 2020. Also in 2020, I just actually went and visited some of my nail buddies, which I'm not going to tell you who it is yet, but I just got back yesterday and I filmed 3 awesome videos to start with about some very in-depth stuff that I'm going to be posting under our Gel Nail Fundamentals series. So you can expect that after the new year. I'm very excited about that. We're just in the process of editing those. And then also, okay, I have so much product. This room that I work in is filled with product. Not only is it filled with nail product, but it's also filled with all my craft stuff. If you guys know me, you know that I love crafts also, and I'll get into that in a second. But I am surrounded by products, and I have so much product that I will never use. Now, most of it is open. Most of it I have swatched once. Maybe I've used it on myself, but it's never been used. Like the stuff I have in my studio has never been used on clients. It's only either been swatched on nail tips or maybe in a video that I've done. So I know a lot of you are either just starting out, or, you know, you watch my videos regularly and you're diehard fans, or maybe you're a DIYer and you just want to get exposed to some fun stuff. So what I'm going to start doing, and hopefully you guys are interested in this, I'm going to start doing giveaways of the product that I own here in my studio. Okay. So pretty much after every single video that I do next year, I am going to be doing some little quizzes, some little contests, some little things here and there, and I'm going to give away product for free. This will be for anyone in the entire world. I don't care where you live. I will ship you product. It is going to be, some of it might be open, some of it might be not open. Most of it's in like almost brand new condition. I promise I will not send you anything that's super, super like worn out or anything like that. Most of my stuff is in pristine condition. Worst case scenario, it might have a number sticker on it because I number all of my products instead of having just the names. I have like a whole data sheet for like all my products with numbering. But I just got to the point this year that I'm like, what am I going to do with all this stuff? There's no way in my lifetime I could even use all of this product. I get products sent to me all the time. And I was like, you know what? You know who would really appreciate this are you guys here on YouTube. So expect that in 2020. I'm probably going to make you guys do a little bit of homework in order to earn yourself some free product, especially since I will be paying for everything to send it to you and you will get it absolutely for free. But I want to make sure that you guys are getting the most out of these videos. So I'm going to check to see that you guys are watching my stuff and that you are subscribed. And I might even have you guys, you know, do maybe a little contest here and there or something like that. Okay, so I think that's gonna be really fun for 2020, and I hope that's a really fun way for you guys to get some free product, especially for those of you that I know are just starting out and can't afford a bunch of stuff and want to get your hands on all the pretty stuff that I use. I'm definitely going to be doing that, so I think that will be very, very fun. And last but not least, a lot of you have been asking me to share craft videos and stuff that I do. So in my, like, I love doing nails. So nails is definitely one of my hobbies. It's my career. It's everything. But one of my other hobbies is I love doing needlework. I love crochet and I love quilting. Needlework is probably my number one. I love cross stitch. I love embroidery. I love all of that stuff. I'm obsessed with it. And a lot of you guys have been asking me to show you about my craft. So I have created a completely separate business called A Stitch a Day. I am going to be creating also a separate YouTube channel that you guys can go and follow if you're interested in seeing all of my craft tutorials. Originally, I was thinking about doing it here under the Nail Hub under like a specific playlist, but I was like, you know what? This is going to get really complicated with videos posting about crafts on my nail channel. That's really weird. And so I wanted to keep them completely separate. So it's going to be called A Stitch a Day, and I will make sure I put the link below the video and also here up above so you guys can go and follow that if you're interested in learning about other craft pastimes that I do. Maybe you're interested in starting one yourself. And the reason why I do it is just to have something other than nails that I can express myself through. And I find it also extremely meditative and relaxing. So maybe you will too. Maybe you'll just watch me and be like, oh, that's cool. Okay, not for me. But I know some of you have been very interested in seeing what I do in my free time outside of nails. So I thought I would share that with you as well. And last but not least, you know, I know the PC thing is to say happy holidays, but I like to say Merry Christmas, everyone. And if you celebrate a different holiday, please say whatever you want back to me. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, please share with me back. And my hope for you is that you have a very merry holiday, whatever holiday you celebrate at this time of year. And I hope you have a very happy new year as well. 2020 is Year of the Rat, which I'm very excited about because I am a rat. And so Chinese Zodiac is in my favor for 2020. So that'll be fun for Chinese New Year this upcoming year as well. And I guess that's it. This is the last for 2019. Thank you so much for watching my videos. You guys have been absolutely awesome. I am so grateful for all of you that have, you know, interacted with me here on YouTube, and I have lots more to come for 2020. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And don't forget to check out all the details below my videos. A lot of you guys miss that when I post videos. So right underneath YouTube videos, there's a little usually there's like a little arrow you click on. It expands the section below the video. And I always post all the links to the stuff I use, links to other, you know, videos that are relevant to what I just posted. And then also don't be afraid to comment, you know, like stuff, ask questions, whatever you want. I'm here, I'm reading everything, and I really enjoy interacting with all of you. All right. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys in 2020. Bye.